Chapter 15, Game 6. On the ride to Yankee Stadium, Jackie filled me in. The Yankees won the first two games of the World Series. The Dodgers took the next two. In Game 5, the Yankees squeaked out a 2-1 victory. So if the Dodgers lost today, the series would be over. If they won, it'd be all tied up at 3 games each, and Game 7 would be played tomorrow. I had seen The House That Ruth Built on TV, of course. My dad always watched whenever the Yankees were on, but as Jackie and I walked inside Yankee Stadium for the first time and I stood at home plate, I felt shivers. The stadium looked beautiful, all dressed up in red, white, and blue bunting. Jackie went to put on his uniform. You could feel the history in Yankee Stadium. This is where Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig made their famous farewell speeches, I marveled. This was where Ruth hit the 60th home run in 1927, and where Roger Maris would hit his 61st to top the record in 1961. Above the upper deck, 10 World Championship pennants flapped in the wind. The monuments out in center field looked like they were a mile away. Death Valley, it was called. The outfield seemed to be twice as deep as the one at Ebbets Field. I was standing there drinking it all in when somebody tapped me on the shoulder. "You the new bat boy?" I turned around. It was Aunt. "Yeah," I said confidently. "I'm the new bat boy." "At least you ain't colored," he said. At the beginning of the season, some black boy walked in here, told me he was the new bat boy. I hired him and he ran out on me. Aunt peered at me for a moment. "Hey, ain't I seen you somewhere before?" "Maybe," I replied, "in the streets." "What's your name?" "Joe," I said simply. Aunt told me to haul out the bats, balls, gloves, sunglasses, pine tar, resin bag, chewing tobacco, and all the other stuff players needed. I knew the routine. When the Dodgers filled into the visitors' clubhouse, I almost didn't recognize the team. Even though they were behind 3-2, they were loose, chatting, laughing, and snapping towels at one another. There were card games going on, poker, bridge, hearts. Jackie was right in the middle of everything, one of the guys. "Hey, Huey," Jackie asked Hugh Casey, the big apple-cheeked relief pitcher, "how'd you strike DiMaggio out the other day?" "Fooled him with my knuckler, Jack," Casey replied. "I didn't know you had a knuckler." "Neither did DiMaggio," Casey chortled, and both men doubled over laughing. I could hardly believe my eyes. The two of them were sharing a joke, like two white guys would, like two black guys would, but not like a white guy and black guy would ever would, at least not in 1947. Dixie Walker came over to Jackie with a bat. I almost expected him to hit Jackie with it, but instead, he held the bat up as if he were about to swing at a pitch. "Last night I was laying in bed thinking," Dixie told Jackie. "You got a real wide stance. I bet you'd be able to handle the curve better if you didn't stride so far." "Like this?" Jackie asked, demonstrating his batting stance. "Yeah. I'll try it," Jackie said. "Thanks, Dixie. Don't mention it." Dixie Walker sharing batting tips with Jackie Robinson? I thought I was hallucinating. Some black guy walked over to Jackie, and Jackie glanced at me as they spoke. The guy looked familiar to me, but I couldn't place him. Jackie motioned me over. "Joe, I want to introduce you to somebody," Jackie said. "He joined the team in August. This is my roomie on road trips, Dan Bankhead." Dan Bankhead. He was the guy I helped in the alley when I first arrived in 1947. He made it to the Dodgers just as he had hoped. I shook Bankhead's hand, didn't bother mentioning we had met before. When the Dodgers filed out on the field for practice, every seat in Yankee Stadium was already filled. I had never seen so many people in one place at one time. Somebody said the attendance was more than 70,000. The Yankees fans were nothing like the Dodgers fans at Ebbets Field. They were more reserved, almost dignified. They clapped their hands respectfully when they saw Jackie, like they were at a tennis match or something. It was like the difference between a fancy restaurant and McDonald's. The food might be better at the fancy place, but somehow you have a better time at McDonald's. The Dodgers warmed up along the third base side. There was no need for Jackie to find a partner. He played catch with Pee Wee Reese, Eddie Stanky, Carl Furillo, and Gene Hermansky. Manager Barney Schotten filled out his lineup card in the Dodger dugout. Then the Yankees came out of their clubhouse. The Bronx Bombers. Joe DiMaggio, the great DiMaggio, was standing there in flesh and blood, not more than 90 feet from me. Phil Rizzuto, Yogi Berra, Tommy Henrich. These were the guys my dad always told me about. The program said the Yankees won 19 games in a row during the season and cruised to the American League pennant by 14 games. They led the league in homers, triples, runs, batting average, and slugging average. They're awesome. There was a buzz in the stands. I stepped out of the dugout to see what was going on. A large man wearing a long camel's hair coat and walking with a cane was being helped to a box seat behind the Yankee dugout. He looked like he was about 70 years old. "Who's the old coot?" I asked Aunt. "Can't hardly recognize him, can ya? The poor slob is dying from cancer. As Babe Ruth." Babe Ruth, the most famous player in the history of baseball, a dead living legend. I rose from the bench as if a magnet pulled me up. I had to meet him. "Hey kid," one of the Dodgers said to me, "we need another pine tar rag in the on-deck circle." "In a minute," I said. I grabbed a pen and hopped the fence to where Ruth was sitting. His wife and a few other people surrounded him, but I walked right up to him anyway. "Babe," I said, thrusting my scorecard and pen at him, "can I have your autograph?" "Mr. Ruth is tired, Sonny," his wife said. But Ruth silenced her with a wave of his trembling hand, taking my scorecard with the other. "What's your name, kid?" he asked, his voice scratchy and hoarse. "Joe Stashak," I said, "but make it out to my dad. His name is Bill." "Did your dad ever see me play?" Ruth asked as he scribbled on the scorecard. "No," I replied. "He was too young." Ruth stopped writing and looked at me, puzzled. I realized right away that what I'd said made no sense to him. Scrambling to recover, I said something even dumber. "But maybe I'll get to see you play one day." "I don't think so, kid," Ruth replied with a chuckle. "My playing days are long gone. Long gone." He handed me back my scorecard and turned to face the field. I put it in my pocket and started to walk away. But then I remembered something. "Mr. Ruth," I said, "can I ask you one question?" "Sure, kid." "Did you call your shot in the 1932 World Series?" Ruth looked at me. At last I would hear the answer to the biggest mystery in baseball history. A smile crept across his face. "That's for me to know, kid, and you'd find out." He leaned his head back and let out a bellowing laugh. I rushed back to the dugout. The Yankees and Dodgers had lined up along the baselines. Nobody moved away from Jackie Robinson this time. Guy Lombardo and his orchestra played the national anthem.